In the heart of Lagos, inside a crowded Face Me I Face You compound, with shared bathrooms, clothes hanging on the line, and people cooking outside, lived a beautiful young girl named Adora, with her parents Okon and Chinelo. Their single room was so small that when her father stretched out his legs, they nearly touched the opposite wall. The zinc roof leaked whenever it rained, and their old mattress was thin from years of use. Her mother was very popular for selling okpa by the roadside. She had sold okpa right from when Adora was a child, while her father worked as a bus driver, plying the busy Lagos route from Balogun Market to Aja Market. Life was a daily struggle. Sometimes the only meal they had was dinner, and it was just garri soaked in water. Adora couldn't further her education after struggling to finish her secondary school, so she stayed at home. Despite their poverty, there was love in the family, and Adora was full of dreams. She wanted to make it big. She saw how much her parents tried to make life better for her, even if life was unfair to them. So, she promised herself to give her parents a better life. Every morning, she would dress neatly in her second-hand clothes and set out, walking from shop to shop, under the hot Lagos sun, holding a brown, worn-out envelope with her CV. And sometimes, in the rain, she searched for jobs. One fateful day, after several months of job hunting, luck finally smiled on her. A big beauty store called Sweet Girl Hairs had an opening and was hiring a sales representative. The shop was filled with luxury wigs and hair extensions worth hundreds of thousands of naira, shelves stacked with hair care products, and so much more. Adora stepped in, unsure of what would happen, wondering if she would ever be picked, standing nervously at the door. And just then, Madam Titi, the owner of the luxury hair shop, came in. Surprisingly, Adora was interviewed and immediately employed. She resumed the following day, excited, well-dressed, and ready to work. She felt fulfilled. After weeks of job hunting, she had finally gotten one she loved with good pay. Daily, she showed up to work early. She threw herself into the job with passion, polite to customers, both local and foreign, wholesalers and retailers, always smiling and swift. She knew the business so well that it seemed she had worked at the shop for a very long time. Her boss, Madam Titi, watched her, admired her zeal. Soon, she began to trust her completely. Within months, Adora was left in charge, handling all orders, wigs, raw hair bundles, and hair products, whenever her boss traveled or got busy with suppliers. But daily, as she took inventory, dusting and arranging shelves of cartons of luxury human hairs in different lengths and colors, bone straights, curly hairs, frontal HD lace, temptation crept into her heart. These things are plenty, she thought. If I just take one, nobody will notice. So, she waited. One day, when Adora was alone in the shop, with no customers, she made sure she avoided the cameras in the shop, just so Madam Titi wouldn't see her acts. She took a bundle of bone straight, slipped it into her cloth, and closed for the day. The next day, she waited to see if Madam Titi would complain. Instead, Madam Titi praised her for handling the shop so well. So, she took more packets and hair bundles. She kept doing this for weeks and piling them at home. One day, she set a ring light she had saved up to buy, placed it at a corner in her parents' house, and she hit the record button, promoting luxury hairs for less on her new TikTok page created just for hair products. She sold it online at half the price. When no one noticed, she grew bolder. Soon, she was stealing small pieces of luxury hairs every week, selling them cheaply on her newly opened TikTok page. Tap, 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 tap on your screen. Your mother Christmas is here with luxury hairs for less. Come shop your Christmas hairs, oh, small money. Those were her slogans. And quickly, people would rush over to her page to patronize good, luxurious hairs for cheap, where she posted as a discount hair vendor. And within a short time, her parents' house was cramped. It was stacked with cartons of wigs and hair products, filling every corner. Her bed was pushed aside, unaware of the dome ahead. Her TikTok business began to boom. Orders came in daily. She was making more money than she ever dreamed of, even more money than her salary. She even began to steal from customers' orders before delivery. Whenever customers complained that some items were missing, she would confidently tell Madam Titi, "Ma, these customers are lying, oh. I packed everything myself. I made sure I made no mistake. Maybe it's the dispatch rider that removed a piece from the hairs. I think we should change these riders, so they are very dubious." And because of the trust her boss, Madam Titi, had in her, she always believed her. Adora's expression was calm but cunning. Soon, the complaints kept coming from different customers. First, it was Madame Gobe hairs, a very good client of Madame Titi. She had ordered 5 cartons of hair, and from each carton, 3 bundles of hairs were missing. She was so angry, and she threatened to stop by the shop and request for a refund. Then, another call came in from university students who had purchased hairs for their convocation, but the order, as usual, was incomplete. Then came Madame Jolly's call, a Lagos businesswoman that had her order short of some bundles. Lady B wasn't left out. She had ordered some hairs for her sister and herself, and as usual, the orders were short. The complaints kept coming weekly, and Madame Titi became worried. Yet, Adora kept denying, showing records and receipts of the complete orders she dispatched. Madame Titi kept changing the dispatch riders she used, thinking they were the problem. Weeks turned to months. Adora's tiny room in the compound was filled with cartons of hair products she had stolen. Luxury wigs, hair creams, weave-ons, and lace closures stacked up like a mini warehouse. She even stopped helping her mother with okpa money, claiming she was saving for something big. Her parents grew worried, seeing how much cartons were in their small home. They talked to Adora, asking questions. At first, Adora said her madam asked her to keep them in the house because the shop was full. Her parents believed her. Every evening, she would go on live to sell the hairs. One day, a customer from the US ordered hairs worth $2,000. Adora packed the items and delivered immediately, but secretly removed 5 luxury wigs and sold them online that night. Unfortunately for her, that customer was Madame Titi's cousin. When the package arrived incomplete, the cousin immediately called Madame Titi in anger, asking that the remaining hairs be delivered immediately. This time, Madame Titi paid closer attention to her customer's complaint. Alarmed, she checked the inventory and discovered several discrepancies. Some stock numbers didn't match sales records. Suspicion fell on Adora immediately. Madame Titi was heartbroken. She checked the CCTV cameras and noticed strange movements of Adora in the shop. So, quietly, she involved the police, but pretended not to know anything. She told Adora that the next day by 9 a.m., they needed to stock some items from the storeroom, and they would go together. Adora wondered why her madam wanted to do restocking with her, instead of her alone as usual. So, she decided to go to the store an hour earlier in order to return some hair bundles she had removed from the newly stocked hairs. When she arrived, surprisingly, Madame Titi alongside 2 officers were waiting. Adora was shocked and trembling, but tried to keep it cool. The officers told Adora they needed to inspect her bag and locker. At first, she hesitated, but she gave in. Inside her bag, they found bundles of high-end wigs, some still with sweet girl hair's tags. She confessed immediately, begging Madam Titi, who couldn't believe her eyes, as she watched speechlessly. And sad, the officers handcuffed Adora and led her out of the shop. Soon, crowd gathered outside Sweet Girl Hair's, wondering, some recording. The police followed her home to her compound, and what they saw stunned everyone. Cartons upon cartons of stolen goods. Neighbors gathered, whispering in disbelief, trying to get good video quality through the window of Adora's house. Her parents were confused. Soon, they found out Adora, their beloved daughter, had stolen products from her boss for months, and she had lied to them. They never imagined their daughter to be a thief. One by one, the cartons were taken out of the house as Adora was handcuffed and led away, walking shamefully in tears through the crowded compound. Neighbors pointing and gossiping. Her mother kneeling and crying, begging the officers. The girl who once represented beauty and promise was now disgraced before the same people who envied her. She was taken to the police station, where she sat in the police cell, head bowed in regret, realizing her dreams had turned to dust because of her greed. The remaining goods were recovered, and Madam Titi was heartbroken as she counted her losses. What this story teaches us is that greed destroys trust and destiny. Adora's little act of theft grew into a habit and ruined her future. It also lets us know that integrity is better than riches. Honesty might not make you rich quickly, but it will sustain you. It also reminds us that every secret sin will one day be exposed, as you can hide from people but not from the truth and consequences. And also, that we should be content and patient, as success gained the right way may take time, but it brings peace and respect. And finally, that ill-gotten wealth never lasts. No matter how sweet it feels, stolen money always brings sorrow. What do you think about this story? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.